What is going on, everybody? This is the Clean Hits Hockey Podcast, and I got some terrible news. We don't have a Utah Mammoth game until February 25th. So what we will be doing today is continuing to whet your appetite about all things Utah Mammoth hockey. We will be going over the Olympics, which is why the team is not playing until the 25th, in case you are living under a rock, and kind of talk about some of the topics that we're going to need to start getting ready for post this Olympic break. I am your host, Brad. We got Trent here. We got Corey here. Guys, what are you going to do with all this extra free time for the next couple of weeks? I know I'm going to be doing some extra stretching. I got to take care of this weed problem I have in the front yard. I keep on picking them. They keep on coming back because of all the rain we've gotten this year. It's extremely
I thought you were
annoying.
going to say you didn't figure out how to smoke your weed in the backyard instead of the front yard.
Figured that part out. Figured that part out. Step one is done. And then the problem is that step one is really influencing step two of getting the weeds pulled done as well. So it may be a problem.
Here's what you need, Brad.
Or a boring.
Here's what you need. You need an 11-year-old son
who gets into
a fight. Who gets into a fight at golf practice and loses his screen time for the week and has it replaced with weeding. So those weeds are just disappearing daily, my friend, across the whole property. Yeah.
I got $5 cash.
We don't pay him at all. It's just punishment. Yeah.
Well, Trent, I'm sure you got plenty of real life hockey stuff to attend, but also you showed us a little cool thing to keep one of the sons busy. That 3D printer.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can get some.
Christmas. Yeah.
Here
we go. We could get some Clean Hits 3D printed stuff going.
There we go.
Yeah, I haven't named him, so I think if anyone's watching and you want to name my little mammoth here, I'm going to make one rule: it can't be Tusky.
Okay.
But beyond that, give him a name. Throw a name in the comments for this 3D printed little mammoth my second grader made for me.
How about Musky? Because I know that's what that studio smells like.
Yes, this studio is. I mean, like off camera, it's so much worse.
Yeah,
you got. I mean,
I can smell it on the side of the camera.
Yeah,
oy,
there you go.
Oy.
Those are. Yeah.
Oy.
I mean, just everything. Yeah. It's pretty nasty.
How big of a mammoth can you print? Like, can we get like a 6-foot one for Brad's front yard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those giant skeletons.
Yeah.
How about one inside for that weed problem? But yeah, I think he's got a little mini 3D printer. So yeah, we're fairly limited. Yeah.
To do in pieces and build it.
You know what? It just occurred to me that anyone's listening to the audio of this is utterly unlistenable. I'm just grabbing things from around my desk
and imagination
them at the camera. So if you want to see stinky hockey gear, switch over to YouTube. I'm sure you can imagine in your mind's eye what a 3D printed little mammoth looks like. But stinky hockey gear, that's what you missed. Yeah, as far as my plans this weekend, man, you nailed it. It's all coaching. And well, I'm not playing hockey until sometime in March. We lost our championship game in my D League. We made it to the championship and we lost on Monday. But so I've got a little break from playing. Yeah.
Corey, how about you? You digging out from the snow?
Yeah, it snowed again here last night. I think this was the last one of the winter, hopefully. But it was clear there for a couple of days, but now it's back. So we're getting more snow here than Salt Lake is. So wow. Toronto set a record for the amount of snow in January. So hopefully that doesn't continue into February.
It's just hot here. That's like just straight up hot.
Yeah.
It's like 80 plus degrees out there. Yeah.
Getting my tan already. Well, speaking of tans, hopefully some of the Utah Mammoth players are looking their best as they head over to Milan, Italy for the Winter Olympics. The 4 players that will be representing the Mammoth will be Clayton Keller, JJ Peterka, Mr. Karel Vejmelka himself, and Ali Mata for their corresponding teams, USA, Germany, and Czechia. The Winter Olympics hockey portion begins February 11th, so next Wednesday, bright and early at 8:30 a.m. with Slovakia taking on Team Finland. Then we got a nail biter back-to-back that day with Sweden taking on Italy. I wonder who is going to win that match. But I can't wait. I mean, once we get through some of these initial matchups, this is going to be just some of the best hockey you can watch. And if it's anything like 2010, which is the last time we've truly had the NHL sending over the best of the best, it's going to be something that you talk about for years and years to come. Obviously, outside of our own nation's teams that we'll be rooting for, any other little tidbits or things you're really looking forward to seeing during the Olympic break and the Olympics?
I think for me, JJ Peterka. He's been really great for Utah, despite never really finding where he fits into the roster. He's been moved around an awful lot. He hasn't really had a consistent line for the majority of the season, and you just get the sense that there's another level yet to be unlocked with that player. And I think with Germany being one of their top forwards, obviously, he should have a cemented spot there. And I'd like to see what he can kind of unlock, maybe playing with Stützle or Draisaitl or one of these big German weapons up there. Trying to plan maybe a watch party around the USA-Germany game here in Gilbert. Some of the dudes on the Discord are hitting me up in DM to do a watch party. The only problem is all the game times suck because the games are in Milan and in Gilbert. That puts it at awkward times. But the Germany-US game is fairly okay. I think it's like noon on Sunday or something around here. So more details on that soon, hopefully. But it'd be cool if a week from Sunday we were all at AZ Ice Gilbert watching the game. So join the Discord, stay on top of the chat there. We'll see if we can make something happen. But yeah, I guess for me, Germany and specifically Peterka, that's who I'm really most interested to see what they're able to do on the biggest stage with some big line mates.
Yep.
We got 12 teams in that, right? I think it's 12. Yeah, it's more than World Juniors. Yeah, it's hard to keep track because there's already been so many injury replacements too.
Well, you were mentioning Italy getting shit whipped by Sweden, and I was like, they should let dudes of Italian heritage play on the Italian team, like especially if they're not in the NHL or something. Like maybe Abruzzese or like is Hinostroza in the NHL? I don't think he is right now. Is he?
Oh yeah, he is. He's on the Wild. Mr. Vinny Hinostroza.
He's an everyday player. I feel like I haven't noticed.
He was during all the injuries they were having. He was. I don't know if he still is, but
someone on Twitter put together.
It should be like, hey, if you're, like get some heritage guys out there. You know what I mean? Like
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, someone did that on Twitter. They had like Michael Del Zotto. They had who was the goalie? It was
Gabriel Velarde. Gabriel Velarde would be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nick DeSimone maybe might make it.
There you go. I was going to say Zuccarello, but he's Swiss. Norway. He's Norwegian. That's right. That would be kind of a fun way. And we were talking before the show.
Michelli wouldn't be eligible either.
Yeah. Or even just the loaning of the honorable mentions from Team Canada and US that maybe just miss the cut, get drafted by some of these other teams. I do have to point out just apparently NBC or the Olympics hired the NHL scheduler to perfect the medal games, and in pure NHL scheduling fashion, just completely fumbled the bag. We got, I believe it will be the silver medal game Saturday, February 21st at 2:30 Eastern. So noon 30 Utah time. Perfect. Watch some hockey during the day. Fantastic. Then for the gold medal game on Sunday, February 22nd, set those clocks bright and early to catch the 6 o'clock in the morning puck drop for Team Canada versus Team USA gold medal game. Oy vey. I mean, how do you do that? The day before you got it right. You couldn't even make it 10 Eastern.
This is why we need to see the four nations face off more regularly. And we need to add Czechia and Russia to that, make it the Six Nations Slam Fest. I don't know. I mean, it's the Six Nations Summer Slam. Whatever you want to, whatever alliteration you want to come up with there. Something outside of the Olympic Games that's a best on best international tournament that's maybe free of some of the limitations that we have when hockey's not actually the star of the show in the games, because then maybe we would have a championship game not at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning.
I mean, I just cannot believe it. Hopefully, maybe they adjust the schedule as it picks up. I don't know.
I think if we are going to some other format, like let's get Russia back in this. This has been what, 4 or 5 years now, something like that, where they have not been allowed to play. Yeah, let's get Sergachev in the next.
At least let the kids play in the World Juniors. I mean, they were like 12 years old when this thing kicked off. I think we can hold them blameless. Anyway,
remember they
probably shouldn't pull at that thread too much.
Yeah. Remember they did the like Olympic athletes from Russia at the one Olympics rather than just Russia itself.
And they had them wear gray.
Yes.
Weren't they wearing like all like prison uniforms?
Yeah.
It's like the football uniforms from The Longest Yard. You know, they had them all wearing like drab gray punishment clothing. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll be up bright and early that day to watch the gold medal game, even if it's way earlier than I ever want to wake up. But this is what they're doing to us. I guess we don't have a choice unless. Huh?
I'll DVR it and watch it. I'll DVR it.
That's not a bad idea.
And I won't tell the kids it's not live. Did I tell you guys I did that with that? What was
Philly
the wild
game, right?
comeback game? Philly? Yeah. I watched it the next day with my kids, and I just didn't mention that it happened the night before. So
did you know what happened
in the family room? I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm watching it the day after with them, and they're jumping up and down and hollering. You know, my wife comes home from whatever she's doing. I think she's out at dinner with the ladies or something, and she's like, "It's time for bed." They're like, "We can't go to bed right now." They're right back in it.
And you're like, "No, man, it would be amazing if Schmaltz stops this breakaway at the empty net." Oh my gosh, he just did.
Yeah. Dad, you're really good at this. Yeah.
That's when you start making bets with them. I bet you they're going to come back.
Yeah. Get your whole yard cleaned up and groomed.
Yeah, that's right. Every last weed against the donut. Yeah.
Well, yes, obviously Olympics is going to be awesome. Cannot wait to see how the Utah Mammoth players do. I'm really excited for Vejmelka too. Is he actually going to be the starter, or
I would think it's well, he's Finnish, but
yes,
the Ducks goalie I would think would be the starter.
Stahl. Yeah.
But who knows if that lasts? I mean,
my preference is Veggie. I don't want Veggie to play like let's get through this thing without any injuries, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Remember when the Senators would have won the cup if Hasek didn't get hurt?
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
If I could pick Dostal or Veggie, if I was starting a brand new team like in the NHL, I would pick Dostal because of the age, right? But if I needed to win tonight, tonight, I have to win right now. I'm probably picking Veggie, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be interesting. I would not be shocked if Veggie plays and maybe outplays Dostal. So that's probably may be the biggest storyline on the Mammoth squad here. Outside, oh gosh, we got some good ones. I mean, just Keller, seeing how Keller performs, seeing how JJP performs as one of the top forwards on Team Germany. It's going to be interesting. Alimata, maybe this is what he needs to get going again and really get his groove back, going to Milan, just like the A+ 5-star movie. It's how Stella got her groove back. This is how Ollie gets his groove back.
I feel like somehow, like, we haven't done that many episodes of this podcast for the last couple of years. What are we at? Like episode 70 or something like that?
78.
I feel like you have mentioned how Stella got her groove back at least 4 times.
I'm glad you noticed.
I think we're on like this is a movie that's like, what is it, 25 years old at this point? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's a chick flick from 25 years ago, and it has made an impact on your psyche, Brad, somehow.
I know. It's just been an ongoing thing for most of my life, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad you noticed. I've been just leaving the breadcrumbs everywhere. I'm the first person on all the shows I do that's actually mentioned it. And it is definitely something I use. Yes. You are the first to call it out.
Hey, I've got an idea, right? If we can't get the boys together for a watch party at AZ Ice Gilbert for the Olympic Games, let's just set up a projector at your pad, and we'll all get together. Okay. We'll get some beers and some bratwurst, and we'll have a cookout. We'll watch how Stella got her groove back.
Yeah, I like this. And then we can put up all pictures of all the players who need to get their groove back for the Mammoth.
It's a good point about Mata, though. He's not playing, right? So it's hard to get back into the groove if you're not playing, but it's hard to give him playing time when he's obviously being outplayed. So perhaps getting to Milan and shaking the rust off and playing at a high level and just being kind of thrown right into the mixer there for Finland will help him get back to where he needs to be. He signed that longer term contract. He's had some injury issues. It hasn't looked great this year. But he's had those moments in his career. Pretty much the entirety of his career has been defined by injuries, reduction in efficiency and effectiveness of play, and then sort of climbing back and improving his game and then dealing with more injuries. Like, this has kind of been Olli Mata's career to this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a return to the better version of Mata that we were all so pleased with last season at some point over the life of this contract, and maybe even as soon as this season, provided that he can kind of get his groove back in Milan.
Yeah, he was probably our second best defenseman last season beyond Sergachev. And
you can make that argument. I mean, Marino being hurt, Dursey being hurt definitely opened the door for somebody to step up. But I think you could make that argument, especially with the way they acquired him and brought him in, and he really helped stabilize things.
So if he does kind of get his groove back,
played both sides, right? Kind of doing the Nick Schmidt thing. You know, maybe not to that level, but last year's Mata was kind of like this year's Schmidt, you know?
Yeah. And if he does get his groove back, there's going to be pro scouts at the Olympics, and you know, potentially he can be a piece Bill moves out, right? Money going back. Because if he doesn't get it back, he's still got 2 years left, and that becomes a bit of a concerning contract.
Yes, but depth is a good thing too, and maybe he just needed a little time too. But
he started the year hurt too.
He did, so I had concerns with that contract. I actually had more concerns for Cole, and Cole's really been one of those. So maybe next year is when Mata, if he's still on the roster, is the one who kind of flip-flops and becomes kind of that anchor piece for a younger blue line, because I would imagine Simashev and potentially Mavlam are going to be starting to cut in the minutes.
Mata's what, like 32?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, 31, turns 32 in August. Huh. He must have started the NHL very young, because I feel like he's been around forever.
He did.
He's had a really interesting career. Yeah.
Started when he was 19. So when he was 19, he played 78 games. Holy shit.
Yeah, he just
London
burst
Knights
on the scene with the Pit. He had his.
And it was right around that time when he got what was the diagnosis? It wasn't leukemia, but it was
I think a cancer,
similar, right?
Yeah.
He had a serious illness, chronic illness kind of diagnosis. He had the cracked sternum, the horrible injury. He's had an interesting career, that guy. So that's another interesting storyline to follow. We talked about Peterka, Vejmelka, Mata. You mentioned a couple of names there, though, Brad, that actually what I should have said is the thing I'm most looking forward to about this Olympic break is the fact that Tucson doesn't get one. And we can see Maverick Lamoureux, Daniil Boot, and Dmitry Simashev together on the ice all at once for the Tucson Roadrunners for the first time this season. So I will definitely be watching Roadrunners games during this break to keep an eye on how that young core is looking together in Tucson. So if you don't have a Flow Hockey subscription, now's the time. I don't know if they have a free trial, but I'd do it. If you don't have it, you could tune in and watch the Roadrunners to get your hockey fix in between Olympic games at 6 a.m. or whatever.
Yep. No, that's a great idea. And then don't forget we have Artem Duda down there. And then a couple of the forwards, Julian Lutz,
and McCartney, Julian Lutz.
McCartney. Yep. So there's some names to keep some tabs on too outside the big three there. So I definitely
Julian Lutz, who's the scrapper this season. He's got 2 or 3 fights out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. Yeah, he's trying to change his game up a little bit. Maximilian Zuber has been playing phenomenally this season down there. He's a prospect I'd honestly kind of written off a little bit if I'm being fully transparent. But every viewing I've had of him this season has been better than any viewing I've ever had in any previous season of him. So excited about Zuber as a potential depth option as well.
Interesting, man. And potentially adding more prospects to this pipeline at this year's draft with 3 seconds, 2 of which are looking fairly high into that round and our first.
Yeah, that Rangers pick especially.
Yeah.
And that was
in a
from
couple more years that could be considered a first round pick if there's more teams.
Right? Yeah, because right now it's picked because Rangers are second last ahead of Vancouver?
I think they're third last.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now
that
it's
was
pick 35.
That was from the Patrick Nemeth deal. Patrick Nemeth, who was not even that bad for us. He was fine.
No. We got another pick with that too. Dude, was it not 2 picks?
You got 2 seconds.
Yeah.
They were just pushed way out. Wait, we don't have their second next year, right?
No.
It was. I think it was for last
this
draft.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got more there than the Rangers got for Panarin.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah. I mean, I know
depending on how you feel about Liam Greentree. Depending on how you feel about Liam Greentree.
I think he's decent, and I know they had no leverage, but Panarin's not going to the Olympics. Just hang on to him for another couple of weeks.
Who did
Although if he's only willing
second last year though?
Was it Max?
Was it Peshnica?
I'm not sure.
Because if it was, that's I mean, Liam Greentree's potentially a nice piece here, but I mean, it's too early to call any of this, so I'm not going to dive too deep.
I'm going to look that up.
So what we're talking about for anyone who's what's that?
Wait,
was it used to move up for Baudouin?
That's what I was wondering. That was what my initial reaction was, but it looks like New York Rangers drafted Malcolm Spence from New York Rangers via Utah and Colorado.
So why did we send a pick to Colorado? I think that was to move up for Baudouin.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay.
I do too.
So all of that aside, so what people may be wondering what the hell we're talking about. When Bill Armstrong was tearing down the Coyotes and rebuilding, he was taking a lot of really bad contracts for draft capital. Patrick Nemeth was slightly overpaid, big Swedish defenseman of the New York Rangers who came over and played for the Coyotes and was pretty damn solid. Whatever Olli Mata was last season, that's about what Nemeth was for us. And we got a couple of second-round picks for him for nothing. It was great. We were nowhere near the cap anyway. And Bill Armstrong has taken a little bit of flack at that time. People were very quick to mock him for accepting all these draft picks so far into the future. But what he was finding is he could get better value, right? You might be able to get a 3rd-round pick in 2024, but you might be able to get a 2nd-round pick in 2026, right? So he was opting for the later picks further down the line that were higher value. And now we're about to get potentially a 35th overall pick for a dude who was off our books 2 years ago. And the Rangers are in absolute pain right now. And here we are battling for a playoff spot. We have an amazing trade chip, for nothing. Magically right when we needed it, which is right now, much more than we needed it a couple years ago. So Bill Armstrong's philosophy of delaying the gratification on those picks to get better and better picks from teams that might not age well. At the time we acquired it, if we would have got a 3rd from them, it would have been the late 3rd. So we're talking about a pick that's, like 75 picks higher or whatever. Right now, that's a valuable trade chip. We could get a good roster player for that if we wanted to at the deadline.
Yep, just looked it up. We did trade that pick in the Baudouin deal for Colorado for a second and a third to get there first.
So yeah, that pick boomerang back to the Rangers, but essentially now we're talking about Nemeth being a big portion of acquiring Baudouin, and then whoever we pick or however we use that pick this year, which has borderline late first round value.
Yeah, say we do something with it, like trade it for Bobby McMahon or something like this. Just some random name I'm throwing out there that's been rumored recently. You could potentially get Baudouin and Bobby McMahon for what equates to that late first round pick.
And Nemeth.
Yeah. And for what was just that late first round pick that we had to move it up a little higher to get Baudouin.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So it's basically like you traded in a first round pick and you got Baudouin and potentially a guy like, I'm just throwing out names here, like Bobby McMahon, whoever our deadline acquisition would be with that pick, and a couple of years of Nemeth playing solidly for the Coyotes. Yeah. Brilliant deal.
Crazy. Yeah.
Should we talk about the other thing connecting us to
I
a
think
former Ranger?
Slam dunk transition right here. Corey found some real juicy tidbits about Mr. Artemi Panarin, who was just moved from the New York Rangers to LA Kings with a contract in place, right? Or was he did he sign once he got there? Signed right after, so I'm sure the contract was in place. 2 years, $11 million. The Kings sent back Greentree and a third.
Wasn't a third and a fourth and potentially another third, something like that? Yeah.
Greentree
is
I think it was
prize, though.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was maybe a fourth that becomes a third or a third that becomes a second. Yeah. I don't remember, but
something like that.
Nothing terribly meaningful. Yeah.
No. Right. But the meaningful
Greentree's
bit of this... Go ahead.
Greentree's a solid prospect. I wasn't the biggest fan of his in his draft year. Last season in his draft +1, he kind of made me look foolish a little bit because he was extremely productive. Not a huge Windsor fan. And this year, his production's actually dropped quite a bit, which is not a great sign in your D+2. He was not effective at the World Juniors and couldn't get into the lineup. He's not my favorite prospect, but definitely does have upside. Like, he has an undeniable scoring touch, and he's a very big forward. So I can understand the appeal if you're Chris Drury, rather than getting a draft pick in 2027 who's 17 years old and years and years away from your roster. Greentree will be in the AHL as soon as next season. May even get some NHL games next season. So I can understand wanting the expediency for your retool. So I think they're getting beat up a little bit given the circumstances of the trade. Greentree, this is roughly a Baudouin equivalent prospect.
Yeah. So could be a role player, could be more of an impact player, but it's a player. Like that, it's kind of like a guaranteed player that's cheap and young and has room to grow. But the
pace is his thing. If he can adapt to the pro pace, he'll be good. He has the skill, he has the size. It's just, is he a special enough player to slow things down at the NHL level? I think not. And then can he adjust to NHL speed? That's the question.
Yeah. But the other takeaway from this is what Freeman was reporting, that Utah, the Mammoth, were potentially in on Panarin. So Corey, will you take it away?
Yeah, Utah was in the mix. So we know he signed in LA. He got the $11 million per 2-year deal. Seattle offered the best. Seattle offered 4 years times 14. But Friedman says here, we know Washington was in this. Carolina was in this. I think Utah was in this, even though they tried to downplay it. And we know Bill likes to stay away from all that, the noise. He says, I think they were in this, but Seattle was the one that really came over the top. I think the Hurricanes made a competitive financial offer. I think the Capitals made a competitive financial offer. I think the Mammoth made a competitive financial offer. So that's interesting because, I mean, what would we have given up? I assume it would have been similar to LA. Like, if Greentree is similar to Baudouin, were we giving up Baudouin? What was our offer in terms of the salary? And then where does this fit? And where does that leave a player like Nick Schmaltz? Because you're probably not signing both Panarin and Schmaltz, because together it's at least $20 million.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Boot or Baudouin would be the closest equivalent. I'd be surprised if it was Boot. Maybe Baudouin, but I doubt it with Panarin's age. It could be that we were just willing to give up a higher quality of draft picks.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Liam Greentree is worth roughly equivalent to. I mean, I'd rather have our first than him this year, but our 27 firsts, that seems roughly equivalent. And so if the secondary piece was like Rangers' own second this year, I think that probably beats the LA offer. If it's our 27 first and Rangers' own 26 second, I think that's a clearly better package.
If it's all 3 second-round picks that we have, is that better than Greentree, a third and a fourth? Especially if Rangers are starting a rebuild. Here's 3 pretty high picks, right? 3 top 62 picks. Or top 64.
Well, they're already chanting fire Drury at MSG. I think those chants would be a little louder if it was 3 second-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
At least now they have a player they can watch highlight reels of and as they're crying themselves to sleep. And it's a guy who's going to show up to training camp, and everyone's going to be a bit more optimistic. It'll take some heat off Drury. If it's just teenagers that none of their fans have ever heard of, and not until June. You know, if I'm Chris Drury, I probably feel a little more comfortable with the LA return than just those seconds. But, you know, if they get a first round pick, I mean, I heard a lot of like, well, they didn't even get a first, whatever. That's probably equivalent. I'm interested in the contract. 14 versus 11. So let's say like 12 and a half is the number on a 3-year. I mean, maybe. I would happily give him 3 years at 12.5 million per. But what does that mean about Nick Schmaltz? That's the question. Yeah. Like if Panarin was like a free agent, if somebody just called me up and said, hey, you can have him at 12.5 times 3, do you want him? I'd have a hard time saying no.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Schmaltz would almost certainly have to be gone. And now your top 6 is, I mean, it's not like you would scoff at this. Panarin, Cooley, Keller, and then second line of McBain, Gunther, Boot, Ortiz.
Hayton. Yeah.
Hayton split. Yeah. I mean, or we are talking about keeping Schmaltz, which we are going to do a whole episode about. Don't worry, folks. That is coming. Let's get through the trade deadline to make sure we need this episode first. And while I think it's very, 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 very slim that they would move him at the trade deadline or before, we're just going to try to keep our sanity and not do an hour-long special on Nick Schmaltz and what to do with him this offseason to make sure that there is something to do with him this offseason. But
do you think there's any chance Bill does a rug pull on us and without making a good deadline acquisition stems the disappointment of the fan base that we held on to all of our draft capital by announcing the extension like on deadline day of Nick Schmaltz?
Did it last year. Right? With guys, Matt and Malcolm and Cole.
Yep, that's true. Hey guys, sorry I didn't do anything, but I did all this.
Tricky Nicky, here he is.
Yeah,
hopefully not more than 4 more years.
Schmaltzy.
And if you're in on Panarin, where do you pivot? Because there's not a lot available, right? Like, okay, you can get a Bobby McMahon, but there's a huge gap between those two players, not only in like production, but style-wise as well, right?
I just don't think we need a Panarin style-wise type player either, though. I mean, especially if Schmaltz is on wing, definitely not. But
power play.
I love the idea of a second for 2 seconds or a second for McMahon. More like honestly, more. I mean, we're seeing what.
I would agree on the Panarin thing. Stylistic fit, he's kind of more of what we have, but also we have the worst power play in the NHL, and like he would definitely. That's almost like, hey, did you want to give up a first and a second and then like improve your power play by like 10 spots? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would think
34 though.
You would think.
And I do think if we had gone down that route, if Panarin was a Mammoth right now, I think you would be talking about Schmaltz walking this summer, and you just already have his replacement in place, and you clearly know what the lines are going to look like next year. So
we have a massive question mark about the second line center, though. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you do and you don't. When you have wing depth like that, you can kind of get away with your two. I mean, look at the Wild. They got
but
number one center Ryan Hartman, man, for their like 8th year in a row or 5th year in a row.
That's true. And
they're doing
Fair
just
enough.
fine with that. And granted, like Eriksson Ek is a whole different caliber of player, but it's also not
So
a high scoring. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say Logan Cooley is more of the prototypical 1C than Jeek is. Eriksson Ek
For sure.
more of a high scoring Barrett Hayton. A bigger,
meaner, what could have
yeah.
been. Yeah, it's what John Shaika imagined when he had Barrett Hayton ranked 3rd overall or whatever it was Jeek someday. Yeah. But he didn't get Jeek.
Yep.
He got Timo Jeek, which is Hayton.
Well, we were also connected to another name, right? Friedman connecting us to Kadri. Now we don't know. He said Utah reached out, but I'm kind of thinking that was when Cooley went down. I mean, are you reaching out for Kadri now when Schmaltz has looked pretty good at center? I don't know. I mean, I'll happily take him, but and I think Kadri's more of a need for us than Panarin.
I would agree.
I'd be interested in him maybe if they would just take Hayton straight up or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
Hayton in a pick,
especially with Calgary's so resistant to a rebuild, right? So here, take this 25-year-old.
Right, and then Hayton's going to need a new contract. Kadri makes what, 7? Hayton's going to get he's going to get at least 4.5, right? So it's not crazy to have Kadri be your 3rd line center behind Cooley and Schmaltz at 7, especially if your 4th line center's Jack McBain. Well, actually, he's not that cheap either, but overall, it's doable, I would say. So if they were willing to value Hayton as an equivalent to a late 1st or early 2nd value, which is kind of a stretch, but if they take Hayton in a couple picks, I'd be interested in Kadri. And I think he still fits even with Schmaltz. You know what I mean?
And the big thing is, and again, we'll do this more in a full-on Schmaltz episode. The big thing here is there you have to factor in some uncertainty here of if Schmaltz is doing this because he's got a carrot at the end of the season, or if he all of a sudden had all the things click. To me, there's probably a better chance that there's some regression. And granted, I think he probably has all the confidence in the world right now that he can do this and play at this caliber at the center position and can do it down the road. Because I think at some point it is a mix of confidence and knowing you can and having the right line mates to support you play that type of play and on those type of minutes in those situations. But I wouldn't be shocked if there's a little bit of a step back at the very least. And now what does that look like down the road if you sign him for many years? Is Schmaltz really the 3C guy you want or not? Where Kadri, as he ages out, you have no problem with him changing up his game to play down your lines. And so,
or even if you go get Kadri and the Schmaltz talks fall apart, Cooley Kadri for a season, Cooley Kadri, McBain, Stenlund, that's fine for a year or two until Desnoyers available and ready to go. Speaking of ready to go, I'm ready to go. So I unfortunately have to cut it short again. But finally, Corey will be able to get a word in edgewise. So my apologies, Corey. We're not shutting up. I kind of like these half episode things where I disappear and then the adults can talk when I've left.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Peace out. Right, appreciate it.
Trent.
See ya.
Going into this idea too, though, and why I am very pro grabbing a guy like Kadri right now is then if Schmaltz does revert back to being more of a winger, you got it covered.
That's the thing, right? It's when is Schmaltz going to turn back into a pumpkin? Because we've seen him at center before. Now that was under a different coach, and that was years ago.
Yes, and he was younger, and he didn't have the same support. Even though he was, I was looking at that Ottawa Senator game where he had 7 points. I thought it was 8 for some reason. I guess it was.
So I thought it was 2, but maybe it was 7. Right? What a bum.
And maybe they took one back because I could have sworn it was 8 at one point. Anyways, he was playing with Krause and Keller, playing center in that game.
Oh wow. Huh. Why do we ever break that lineup?
He got hurt, if I remember correctly. And
that used to be a thing for him. He used to be very injury prone.
Yes. And I think it was one of those things. He came back after being hurt and it just wasn't clicking again.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the injury is why he didn't play the middle as hard or play the role as hard. And there's that hesitancy. And maybe he's more in shape this year because of, the carrot.
One's going to pay him. Yes. And now with Panarin off the board, he's even more so one of the best free agents available.
Yep. So, oh man, the saga is going to be crazy. But
you
again,
remember when
we're going to table it a little bit until we at least know this needs to be a long conversation or not. Because
it's not even so much the money with me. It's just the term. Like, I don't want to do 7
same.
years is the max now, right?
This is the time when you can overspend, when you have all these ELCs coming for players that are very highly talented players that have high skill and high character guys. This is when you can throw dummy money around a little bit and overspend and not worry about when you need to get rid of them so much. But it is the term. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And if I'm Schmaltz,
pretty clean.
Yep. And if
right?
I'm
like
Schmaltz,
not as
if I'm getting a 7-year versus a 4-year, man.
Yeah. It reminded me of, do you remember Jason Blake final year with the Islanders had 40 goals, then goes into free agency, signs with Toronto and gets 15 the next year? He had never scored 40 goals, not even close. Yep. And then he gets 25 goals less the next year. So, another player we just mentioned, Bobby McMahon. So Darren Dreger was saying, looks like Toronto's going to be a seller, looking for a first-round pick for Bobby McMahon. I don't want to do a first for him, but I mean, they just need picks, right? Yeah, I was thinking that 2 seconds, or second and a third.
That Rangers one is pretty much
free anyway.
First, if two more teams to this league, and that is the first pick of the second round, or if the Rangers keep on falling without Panarin, which they probably will, could very well be the 33rd pick of the draft, which again, Atlanta comes in, and that's a first-round pick now. And you see this all the time. The GMs say they need something, and they don't get it. But it's just how you are supposed to negotiate. You aren't going to go and be like, yeah, we'd like it first, but second or two would be fine.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go.
Toronto has nothing, right? So Toronto has no picks, potentially no first this year, potentially no first next year. They have maybe one prospect we're talking about, maybe 2. So
and not much cap space.
Get some assets here, right? So McMahon does a little bit of everything. He's cheap cap wise. I like him as a player.
I do too. And then that kind of opens up this like Krause, Schmaltz, Keller line, and McMahon, Cooley, Gunther line, and it's like mirrored stylistically of a big, banging dude who can do all the dirty work and score, a skillsy center, and a guy who has a fantastic shot and can do a lot more than just score on wing. That is a deadly 1-2. And then you got to deal with the third line of potentially McBain, Hayton, and JJP rolling all over you.
Yeah. And then
you
don't have to, lose some higher end assets. And then in the summer, there's going to be more available, right, in terms of trade. So you can do maybe a bigger deal then, like we did with Sergachev and like we did with Peterka.
And I also think there is something here. This is turning into our Schmaltz episode. But I do think there's something here of securing the 60 to 70 points that you potentially may lose if Schmaltz ends up walking. If we don't re-sign him before the end of the year, it would be really nice to have a little bit of that baked into the roster already. So you're not going into the offseason being like, well, we missed out on everybody, so let's hope that Tej makes the lineup and is able to put up at least 15
70
goals.
points this rookie.
Well, at that point, you're just accepting that that's not going to happen. So you're like, hoping that Coolies and Gunthers take another step. And
I don't think he's going to be a 70-point player going forward. He's been so dead on 60 the last couple of years that he's kind of a 60-point guy. But if he goes,
Schmaltz,
can you get those 60? Yeah. Can you get those 60
but on a point per game pace is higher because he's always injured.
Yes. Yeah, because he did
on a point per game pace, he's a 70-point player. Yeah.
So can you make up those 70 if you get, let's say 30 from Tej? I don't think you're going to get 40 from McMahon, but
I think he's done it before. McMahon is,
Another player too is another free agent is Carconi, and he's been so much better than last season. He's been very close to final Arizona season. Carconi.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can re-sign him because I don't know if we're gonna have a roster space, and he's not going to take a two-way deal. So
no,
but good for him.
Yeah,
He'll be able to get a deal in free agency this year that he couldn't last year.
He definitely should. McMahon has never had more than 34 points.
Okay. I think he was playing.
He had 20 goals and 34 points last season. That's his best season. He had 24 points in 56 games the season before that, and he did only play 74 last year. He really has only been in the NHL for 4 years.
Undrafted, I believe.
It's only been 3 years. I take the bet. He's a big boy. 6'2", 208.
Okay. That gets Bill listening.
Yeah, that perks the ears up. This season, he has 19 goals already, so he is absolutely going to beat his 20 goals season and 32 points. So this will be his career best. He's definitely in that 40-point range.
Playoff type player for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing last year's playoffs, but that could just be a Toronto thing.
That could be a Toronto thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind if like Panarin's off the board, and then like what's the next best name? I like all this Robert Thomas stuff. The price is just crazy. I mean, you always hear like we want a top prospect at first and a roster player. I think they could get double that or close to Robert Thomas, right? He's only 27, so that's in contract.
To me, that's a little bit.
Yeah,
for the price that it would take to acquire him, it's a little bit older than I'd like.
He's saying. Don't want to do the Derek Stepan deal all over again. Just get him like right before he's going to enter the kind of mid prime, and then you get like 2 years out of him, and then he's toast. Because like you used to be able to play till you're 40, but now I think if you get to 30, it's a little dicey on the opposite side of 30 there.
Yeah, and I mean I think he's an elite center, and I wouldn't be terribly concerned. But again, it's more of then there's almost certainly no Desi in the pipeline. And now now it's like,
if he crashes and burns in 3 years and then Caleb is gone too, then you're really stuck. And St. Louis has really no reason to trade him. Like he's still a piece. And I don't think they're going for a rebuild. They've just had a rough year. So
agreed.
They still have a lot of good pieces there.
I cannot believe they are the second worst team in the league though. Holy cow.
They just can't score.
I know. And they've been dealing with a ton of injuries too. I think they will pull ahead a little bit, especially if Binnington gets his groove back and on at all.
I think he limited one of those per episode.
He definitely got that from the Four Nations last year when the Blues decided to like not lose a game again after he won the Kia or whatever they gave out as a prize at Four Nations. But looking at the standings, and this is kind of the next thing we want to talk about anyways, it does warm my heart to see Chicago not in the bottom 5, because that was all we needed was another Central team to be able to stack another.
Right. They already got Bedard. They don't need another piece.
Yeah, and Friedell's starting to look really good. So I agree. They're going to get another piece for sure, but it's not going to be a top 3 pick, which in this draft could have been really turning them into a very tough team to outpace in our division.
Especially if you get like a McKenna.
Yes, I know.
McKenna's got a little bite to his game apparently. So
oh yeah.
Watch for that right hook.
Oh yeah, that's a topic for another day too. But currently at the bottom, it is still a little bleak if you're in the West, because Vancouver
is just awful. They have like
they're
one
getting
win in the last 15 or something,
or they'll have the best odds for it. So it will be their pick of the litter between 3 pretty tremendous prospects. St. Louis, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they can start pulling through here, because I don't
keep them necessarily. Out of the Central.
Yes.
Put him in the East. I don't mind if he goes to the Rangers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who else?
Or any of these top 3?
New Jersey's in there. Yeah, not New Jersey. They've had so many first overalls, and like they've had so many injuries too, and like freak injuries with the Jack Hughes thing with a knife and whatever else he had last year. But like part of their reason is they're just all this, nonsense with the no trade clauses and just the whole circus around them. I don't want them to go to New Jersey, but
yeah.
Who else is at the bottom of the East?
Rangers is third worst, then Calgary, Winnipeg, Chicago, Jersey, San Jose. So really, we're talking about 2 teams in the entire Eastern Conference in the bottom 10.
Calgary's not bad. They've never picked first, and I mean, Edmonton's had so many. It would be nice for Calgary to get one. So
I'd be okay with that. And they're a little bit of a ways out. Yeah. And what I really wanted to avoid going into the season was the Sharks in Chicago being able to add another just absolute premium piece. So hopefully neither of them win the lotto.
I don't think San Jose is going to be close to it. I don't. What 11 spots though? So I don't think they're playoffs,
8th worst right now.
Ooh, no, they've had
in the entire league. Yeah.
Can any team not win? Because you can only win, what is it, twice or 3 times in a 5-year window now?
Yeah, but did San Jose win?
For Celebrini.
They did not.
Did they not?
They won that year?
Well, I mean, even if you finish last and you get picked, you still technically win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apparently, by the way, the San Jose was in on Panarin, and I don't remember who reported, but the Rangers asked for Will Smith. Like, come on, they're not doing that. That's just crazy. Wouldn't give up Will Smith for 2 Panarins.
Yeah. That's not good negotiation.
No.
But the other side here is the flip side of the standings, and one of the other things we want to discuss on this podcast of something to mull over during this Olympic break, and that is the wild card race that the Utah Mammoth currently sit in, and it's going to be a nail biter all the way till the end. It's been really impressive to see this team really performing well again without their number 1C Logan Cooley, who, I mean, that is going to be the biggest thing this team gets around the trade deadline. It's getting Logan Cooley back, and plus 26 on the goal differential, which is crazy. That puts them in 4th best in the Western Conference, ahead of teams like the Vegas Golden Knights and Edmonton Oilers, only behind the 3 central teams ahead of us of Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas. Dallas is in the 3rd spot of the Central Division with a plus 33 goal differential, 77 points in 57 games. Minnesota is in the 2nd with 58 games played, 78 points, and a plus 27 goal differential. And then we are technically 4th in the Central with 57 games played, 64 points. So those 10 overtime losses for Minnesota have really helped out for them. And a plus 26 goal differential. If we were in the Pacific, we would be sitting in the 3rd Pacific spot.
2nd, right? No, ahead of Edmonton. Because if you go old school, we're 5th in the West.
You're right, because Edmonton has a game played, so they would be second in the Pacific right now. Probably feeling pretty confident that you have that playoff spot locked up. Now, the way the playoffs work, seeding wise, really hurts a team like the Mammoth because 3 teams from each division go, no matter what. You could have the 4th worst record in the league and still make the playoffs if you're top 3 in your division. So that puts us in the top wild card spot right now, which means we'd be playing the Vegas Golden Knights. I love it. Give me that, please. But we have the Ducks sitting with 63 points. 56 games played, so they have less game played than us and only 1 point back. They are tied with Seattle Kraken. Seattle just must have some of the tiebreakers as far as, I guess that would be 1-on-1.
Yeah. Seattle over Anaheim. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, regulation 21 to 18. Yep. The Kings, who just acquired Panarin, so that's not great. They are 1 out of the wild card. Well, they're 3 points out of the wild card spot with 56 games played. You got to think that this is going to help them bounce back up here. Preds, 57 games played, 59 points, negative 29 goal differential. I feel like they are yo-yoing back down. We're seeing this a lot throughout the season. Teams are going on these big win streaks. Then they kind of go on the opposite end. They are 3-4-3 in their last 10, the Nashville Predators. So not very hot right now. Kings are 4-3-3, losing 2 in a row. But again, they get a big boost.
I'm pretty confident.
San Jose, who felt like the other team that would be taking the wild card spot, have really started to slide now, losing 3 straight, 58 points with 55 games played. So they have played 2 less than us. So theoretically, if you just count 2 wins there to put them equal games played, they would be at 62 points. Negative 22 goal differential, 4-5-1 over their last 10. So they're more of that middle of the pack team. I think those are the teams that we need to really be worried about. Chicago's right behind San Jose. I think they're too far out. I just don't think they got what it takes. The Jets scare me ever so slightly. They would have to go on a St. Louis Blues level tear for the rest of the season to get there. But I'm not terribly concerned. When Hellbeck first came back, that's when I was more concerned, and they just haven't been able to string wins together. They're 3-4-3 in their last 10. So theoretically, what we're talking about here is needing to outplay all of Seattle, the Ducks, and the Kings in my mind, and maybe San Jose. I'm not concerned about the Predators, to be honest.
No, same. San Jose, I think they're just going to run out of gas. They've had a very impressive year for a young team. They're only a couple of years into the rebuild. Celebrini is just nuts. Only team behind us that I'm concerned about is LA. It's a veteran team. Now they have Panarin, so now they're going to be able to score a little bit more. But I'm pretty confident we're making it. I think LA is going to make it in. Good veteran group, and Seattle is going to fall out. And by the way, give me Colorado for the first round.
Over Vegas?
Yeah. I think all the pressure's on Colorado. We have a good record against Colorado, or at least we're competitive. And they haven't slipped, but I mean, for a while, like they had 1-2 losses. Now they're up to 9. They have 4 wins in their last 10. Maybe they'll be a little gassed after the Olympics. I mean, I know we have guys going too, but they have their McKinnon going. They have Makar going.
Yeah, I really wish we saw this slump near the end of the season. I'm worried that this was bad timing for them. But I'll bite here too. What I do love about having Colorado in round 1, I got a list here. Here. All right. First, you are setting the stage of an incredible rivalry here. 2 central teams, very close to each other. I know there was intermixing with Colorado fans that live in Utah for a long time before the Mammoth came around. So I feel like you probably still have some stragglers there. The Battle of the Wasatch too. You get them to reface each other on the big regular season stage in the Winter Classic next year. So any bad blood gets to be highlighted on the big stage again. And then 3, like you said, I do feel like we match up pretty well with them.
Even going back to Arizona, right? I mean, I know the last playoff series against them ended kind of badly, but a couple of those
there
games
is some
were pretty
bad
competitive.
blood. Yes, there is some bad blood between these teams. I don't know what it is, especially with the way they rolled over us, the Coyotes in the playoffs, the bubble one. Yeah. But ever since that, they have really, really disliked each other. And there's been some crazy games between these 2 teams over the past couple of seasons.
And I'll take Vejmelka over either of their goalies as well.
Yep. Yeah, I would too.
I don't think you're winning the cup with Scott Wedge, but I think you can kind of cheat and net a little bit if your D is solid enough, but there still has to be a baseline.
Yeah.
And I mean, who else could we play? We could play Vegas or Edmonton pretty much. I mean, I guess technically Seattle or Anaheim could win that division, but I don't think that's going to happen. Edmonton I don't want to do it.
I don't want to play Edmonton. No, that's not going to, we're not getting past Edmonton. I hate to say it, but I don't think we have the caliber. I don't think we have a line that can shut down McDavid or a Draisaitl line for seven games.
Yeah, especially if they're broken up, and then one of those 2 guys on the ice for 45 minutes of the game.
Yep,
that's a lot.
And this is why the Kings looked like they were going to crush them last year at the beginning, because Edmonton couldn't stop a goal, and it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Kopitar can't hang with McDavid for 7 games.
Vegas is interesting.
It is
lots of experience, but then you look at. I mean, technically, we have a better record than we have. 3 more wins, 3 more regulation wins. They have 10 more OT points, garbage points, which you can't get in the playoffs. So,
yep.
I don't know.
And
but
I
they
like
have
our
so
goaltending
much
a lot better than them. I think their blue line's stronger and better and more equipped for the playoffs, though.
They have so much experience, too.
Yes, and I think they probably have one of the best home rink advantages in the entire league. So that stinks. And yeah, I think the other thing, and I meant to add this to my list for Colorado, if you lose to a team who potentially sets the new best regular season record of all time, you're not going to be saying, "Man, we could have beaten them, we could have been better." Like, you tap yourself on the back. Hopefully you give them hell during the series and you make it competitive.
Yep.
And even if you don't, well, they were the best team or one of the best teams of all time. It is.
There's no pressure on Utah, right? So
yeah. Now,
we saw that twice previously, right?
Yes.
Florida took out Boston, and
who has the best
Tampa
record of all time in the NHL. Florida beat them in round 1 just 3 years ago.
Yeah. And then Columbus swept Tampa a couple years ago, and I think Tampa may be the best record or one of them at that point, right? And
yes, that's correct.
Close. I remember watching the first game of that series, and it was like 3-0 Columbus after the first period. I think, like, what's going on here? And then it just 4 games later, Tampa was out.
Yep. And there's that factor too, because man, wouldn't you love to spoil it,
right?
Where like if Vegas were to clown on the Mammoth and win like 4-1 in the series, and many of the games weren't close, you're going to feel way worse than if Colorado does that.
Yes, fully. And I don't want to lose to Edmonton too. They've already had so much luck with the lottery and stuff, and we were right on the McDavid mix in the draft. Oh yes, for sure. Probably one of the top of my list, but I just don't have any confidence that they can.
Yeah, not yet. But yeah, I agree. I think there's different sides of the Colorado match that I really like, and it definitely wouldn't be as painful if for some reason they just got rolled over.
I mean, just give me any opponent. We haven't made the playoffs like for real. I mean, we got the bubble one, but that was a bit of a freebie. We haven't made the playoffs for real in 14 years. So
no, and the way this team's playing, it's not going to be a fluke. Like, you feel good about this team making the playoffs. Like, the Blues felt a little fluky last year, and they held their own against Winnipeg, and that was a great story. But this is like, they deserve to be here. They're the 15th best team in the league right now.
Third fewest goals against. Only teams better are Colorado and Tampa. That's insane.
That is wild. Holy cow.
Yeah. And it's essentially one goalie doing it. I mean, Veggie's playing every game. Vanacek has not played very well. So, like, I'm not saying he's going to get the Vezina or something like that, because he's not.
No.
But he's had a hell of a year. Maybe I know our polls had, I think it was Gunther as the MVP, but what if we reran that, if Milka would get a few more votes?
Yep, we'll have to do that at the end of the year too, once we know. Now let's talk about hanging on to this wild card spot, though. It is dicey with the Pacific, because if Seattle keeps playing well, if Anaheim keeps playing well, and the Kings get a boost, well, 2 of those 3 teams have to make it because of the way the seeding works. So there's a world where the Mammoths still don't make it if let's say LA climbs, takes that 3rd spot, and we miss out because of, luckily we have so many more regulation wins than both the Ducks and the Kraken, actually.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to get knocked out, but it's not over.
No, and with it being that tight, then maybe you are hesitant to move the first round pick, right?
Yeah.
What if you missed the best by 3 points or something? And then, I mean, we saw it last year. We won the lottery, right? Or one of the lotteries. So what if it happens again this year? And then you can get, I don't know where McKinnon's going to go in the draft. I assume he's still going to go first, but any of these top guys.
Yeah, and don't forget, though, we're 15th best in the league. We are 5 points from being in a top 10 spot. So, obviously we don't want any injuries. We don't want this to happen or anything, but this is the tightest the league's been in years. The mushy middle is more like 75% of the league.
Yeah, there's like Colorado, Minnesota, and
Carolina,
Dallas. Outliers, and then a whole chunk of teams, and then like the Rangers in Vancouver.
Yep.
Even in the East,
I know
there's not very many teams who are out of it. I mean, obviously New York is out of it. Columbus has gone, I think, 10-1 under Rick Bowness, which is insane.
Yep.
The only team really out of it in
Devils and Rangers are really the only ones, and I would say Philly's getting there.
I think
Florida you can't count out.
I love watching them in the playoffs, but
me too.
They lost to who they lose to the other night. They lost a hell of a game last night.
Tampa, and then they got killed by Tampa last night, and then they lost the game before that against.
Yeah, I can't remember, but
somebody not as good.
They've thrown away some points this week, so
yep.
Apparently they were in on Panarin too. I don't know how they would have done it because they don't have like anything left to trade, but
yeah.
We'll see. I think I'd like to from that group. I don't know. Columbus hasn't really made the playoffs too much. Maybe replace Boston with them. I don't really care about any other teams. I don't think Florida's going to do it, but I'd love to see Buffalo make it. So.
Oh, I'm full on rooting for Buffalo. They are my East team this year. Between Josh Doan and Kesselring.
Mm-hmm.
But I love so many of those other prospects, and the story's great. Everything about it's fantastic. I'm all in on Buffalo. It's crazy to see the Atlantic, Tampa, Montreal, Detroit.
Yep.
In the top 3 spots. One of those teams. Well, I guess Montreal was a wild card spot last year. But
if the playoffs started today, half the teams who made it last year. So 16 total teams, right? There'd be 8 new teams this year, which is crazy because normally it's only like 3, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Because right now it would be
Buffalo.
Seattle's 1, Utah's 2, Anaheim is 3, and then I think there's 5 in the West. So it's Detroit,
Buffalo, Islanders, Pittsburgh, Detroit,
Boston. I think Boston did make it last year.
Oh yeah, Boston was like bomb 5. Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
wow,
that's crazy. Half, right?
And you got Columbus knocking on the door. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good. Change of the guard. You see a lot of the complaints like change the playoff format back to the 1 to 8. I don't really mind the current format, but I mean, my biggest issue with it is not so much the format, but like it's the same matchups in round 1 every year. It gets a little boring. Like I don't need to see LA Anaheim or LA Edmonton for a 5th time.
I do because I hate LA so much. I hate LA so much.
I don't like either of those temes.
It's got to just be torture though.
Right,
for the LA fans to just be like, well,
right, those guys again.
So I'd be okay with that one more time, especially when they added Panarin. But I agree overall
they could add Panarin.
That's just me being petty. Totally,
I wouldn't even be surprised if they miss because I mean I do have some concerns about Panarin fitting their play style. So
totally,
but he was gung ho on LA being his only destination. So we'll see. It's weird that he would go to LA but not Anaheim. I don't know if Anaheim had interest, but like they're half an hour apart and relative. I mean, Anaheim's on the upswing.
Minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get it.
I guess one's Disneyland and one is Manhattan Beach, but still,
yeah.
And he's got a connection with the Anaheim coach, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't like him, but we'll see.
You never know. Yeah. Well. We covered quite a bit. Is there anything else you wanted to really discuss? I think we'll be doing more trade stuff as we get closer and more rumors. We're going to kind of do our mid-season rankings of the grading of the forwards and defensemen during this break too. So there may not be Mammoth news per se. So we will let you dork out and see exactly what we think of all the players on the roster. As always, please give us a subscribe, a like, a follow. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I know I get a lot of messages of people saying, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed. I'll do that because it definitely helps us get the word out there. Of course, you can join our Discord at discord.cleanhitshockey.com. A lot of activity there. We just integrated a whole bunch of new bots to make things even more fun during game day. Thank you, user Spam. That is its name. I'm not saying it's spamming or anything like that. So yeah, big thanks, Spam, for getting those set up. It's making the Discord a lot more fun too. And then, of course, you can get shirts like the Dylan Gunther Costco card shirt I am wearing, and many other shirts at shop.cleanhitshockey.com. We got a new design we will be releasing. Let's do the first game back. So mark your calendars. February 25th, we will release our brand new player shirt, and we will do a giveaway on that. So pretty excited there. Lots of things to look forward to. Olympics are going to be awesome. Stay tuned. We will be still giving you plenty of Mammoth content to keep you entertained for this break that is going to be feeling so long by the end of it, but it's going to be fun. All right. Well, we will catch you next time. Anything else, Corey?
No. Go Mammoth. Go Canada. Hope Keller wins the silver medal.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, everybody. Ciao.
We know we running it now. Watch the game change.